Hello, everyone, and welcome to Out of Combat, the show after the show for Castles and Cantrips Campaign 2, where we just finished episode 33. Ooh, I didn't realize we're that far along.
I looked at my notes and I'm like, is that right? I don't think that's right.
It's right. It definitely is right.
Guessing the DM who knows all the things.
I have it. I have it in my notebook. It is. Look, I have all the episodes written out and how many days you sleep every time. That's okay. You don't have to see. You just have to believe it.
Okay. I'll fix it in post.
But anyway, I'm here with Bunny Dreadful, who plays Emmy.
That's me.
And Mac and Cheese, who plays Taj.
Hi. Dude, Max, I need to compliment you on your music selection skills.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No. So this episode was when our good friend Azric was like meeting his like deity or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like the vibe was like, should we be afraid right now or not? You know, like It was just so good. And it's always on point with the mood. Even when we go into certain people's shops, like the music changes. When we're out in the street, there's like hustle and bustle. When we're on the ship, there's waves. And I don't know if anyone notices this, but I noticed this.
I did last episode. Last episode, there was a part that was exactly like what you're talking about. Yes.
I feel like
I want to know how much of that is luck and how much of that is like specifically like are you pulling all these strings?
Yeah, yes. Tell us the strings.
The only ones that are luck and random are like the countdown before the stream and then during the break and at the end. So I have a bunch of like local files that I have downloaded from like thanks to you all who are members and subscribers and patrons that allow me to go and support other creators to use their music. I literally have I organize it in my Spotify. Probably not the best way to do it, but it's what I'm used to. I have a Castles and Cantrips folder. Inside that, there are 15 other folders.
Oh my gosh.
And I have them like, some of them are by mood, some of them are by like place, some of them are like super specific. So there's a couple. There's a lot of playlists.
We have a couple on there that are total bangers. I like every time it comes on, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. And I will say like, on this past like holiday season, one of like the creators that I've been looking at for a while, I think it was Monument Studios. They had like a huge like fire sale for all their music, and I was just like sold and just got a shit ton of new stuff, which I'm pretty happy about. Which a lot of stuff I've been kind of putting in there.
I see. Okay, cool.
But yeah, if I have time, I usually have like based on like places. Just it curated because I'll listen and figure out like what kind of vibe that you guys want. So like in my, Gilded Atoll like playlist, I'm like, okay, I know that these two were for like outside. I know this one is, if they go into like the Mystics shop, and then I know this one is more like, if this happens, I have like a whole playlist for like the Gilded Spire, which you guys haven't been to either. So I try to get
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I wondered. I always wanted to pick your brain about your music. And so I knew that this was the time that I was going to corner you and be like, give me the dates, man.
Well, I mean, it's not a huge secret. I mean, because like I don't make any of it. I just find like what in my mind, what makes me feel like that place in my head of like that I've made up.
And you're there.
Because music, like to me, music's so important. And like, I think that having that in the background, it just adds that extra little element. Because I mean, now I couldn't imagine like doing the show without any background music. So
I think it adds so much too. Like it brings us into the feel and the mood as a player, but I'm sure as like a listener too, let us know in the comments if this is how you feel. But like, I feel like as a listener, it also takes you to that place too, because I feel like as players, we've gotten like pretty good at like describing what we're doing, describing what we're wearing. Like you can, it's like a little movie going on in your head and you're envisioning it all. But then when you're hearing it too, it's just chef's kiss. I love it.
Yeah. Cause there's just that little bit that I could describe something and, to a T, but that little extra that kind of just puts you there. So I'm glad that you appreciate it. And if you're ever like watching the show or anything and listening, there's always like a little scrolling thing at the bottom. So if you're like, oh, that song's a banger, you can figure out what it is, because it's important that those artists are kind of brought forward. People know what song's playing. So
next fight scene
is your advice for other DMs or aspiring DMs or amateur DMs like me, who they can find music, but it's like hard to figure out what's like right for setting the tone, or like, how do you pick like the right thing? Do you have like any advice about that people can learn from? AKA me, help me learn.
Well, I will say like it's different like for just DMing at home versus doing a stream, because I have a lot of like restrictions, like, for good reason. Like I've got to make sure that we have like specific rights to use the music, we pay for it, or find some that are Creative Commons and stuff like that. But that's another story. I don't think that's what your question was, but for me, I'll get like, and some of the musics are nice enough to be in like folders, but I'll look for the music and be like, what vibe am I going for? Is it like a doc? And then I have a couple different places that I go to, like Monument Music has a lot of stuff in their repertoire. Tabletop or Monument Studios, Tabletop Audio has a bunch of great stuff that has, you can search on their site, find it and download it.
Like, what do you search? Like, what's the example of like how you would search for something?
Yeah. So like if what you were saying, like if you're in like on a ship or in the docks, I would look up dock, harbor, ship, ocean, water, so just like keywords, like beach, like anything, like keywords. And like some sites are really easy where you can do that. Especially like with Tabletop Audio, it's super simple on their page. The other ones, I just had like a list of like 4 or 5 artists that I knew that we could use the music, or that I'd purchased to use a license for. And at that point where I can't search, I have to guess and just click and listen. And I'll give it like a 5 second, like, I'll scroll through it, be like, no, I'm looking for it, and just move on. Like I did that before the episode today for some stuff where I was like, I need stuff for this. And like, they're organized well, but you don't really know the song until you hear it. So the title will get you only so far. And I'll like click it, listen to the beginning, listen to the middle, listen to the end, see how long it is, and be like, yes or no. And if it's yes, put it in the playlist. If it's not, move on. So
I'm always so impressed with how much work you put into this week that we don't know.
It's not anything like, there's no secret or special. It's just like, just listen to it and make a note of it. And if you like it, put it on a list. Yeah, just do the work.
Love it.
I'm happy that you noticed. Great.
Yeah, of course. Of course I noticed. That's like one of the first things I'm always like when we get into a fight scene, and there's this one track that I don't know what it's called, but I love it so much. And every time it comes on, I'm like, yeah, baby, let's roll some dice.
Oh man, I wish I knew which one you were talking about. Remind me, and then I'll tell you which one it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think right now. I'm like, which one is it? I thought you were going to say, how does he come up with these NPC voices that are so perfect? Max. I don't understand. Like, do you go and listen to stuff for reference, or do you just like
on the spot,
like think of movies you've seen? Like, how are you building these voices?
I mean, it depends. So like Lucille and Jax, I didn't have any fucking clue what they sounded like. That was on the spot.
I didn't even think we were going to talk to them.
Yeah, it was in my mind. I was like, okay, they were here. They were there. And it's like a super quick Rolodex of like, who are these people? Where were they? What did they do? How did they get here? And that just kind of informs choices. And then I have to just try something
on each character that's been introduced. Like, what if because that was like a while ago. Like, how do you remember all that? Do you have like a notes system where you can like search easily?
Yeah. So I've got my notes that like Control F is my best friend, and I have a list of all of your crew members. Yeah. So I have the names, so I can search and figure out who these people were. But there's other like more established, characters that I do spend time of like, what do I want this person to sound like? Right. And it's a little bit of A, a little bit of B. It depends on how they're introduced, like how early on I create them, that kind of stuff. But
well, speaking of notes, Mac, how did you find those names so fast? So do you take notes?
I take notes.
So you're handwriting notes. So because I handwrite my notes, but then I can never find anything. I don't have a Control F.
So I very much like to physically write notes. It keeps me engaged. I think Bun and I both like
You have to do the
relate to
same.
that because we have ADHD and
I've got
like
mine here.
we need to be engaged in something. Otherwise, I
also
can't.
have a little drawing of Bucket that you probably can't see.
I can't even see it.
I'll throw it in the Discord later.
So what I do is at the top of every page, I'll write like the big theme of that episode. So like this one is getting Hayden. So if I recall something that happened during that thing, I'm like, oh, I know that happened when we got hated. So, or Hayden. So how do we go find that? You know, and then I'll like search my notes for that. But I knew that I wrote down the name. And so I was just kind of like looking through my notes. How I organize my notes is that every episode is just one page. Like I'm not writing down every little thing that happens. I'm just writing key things. Like today,
so you can reference it like more
I wrote
quickly
down
that way.
Made contact with patron, wants us to earn trust, steal artifact. Like that was like the big thing. And then like echoing crystal and other things get on Moon's Day. I also wrote with a star, Made Whisper, an official officer. I wrote the name Thaddeus, but then I forgot why I wrote that down. So I'm like on ship with Orb Thing. From Jackson Lucille. Okay. Yeah.
See,
Thaddeus was the guy who didn't have a job on the Reckoner that you were trying to figure out who was potentially a like conservancy person on the ship.
Oh, he died though. Right. Okay.
Yep.
That's I remember that name. See, my notes are like I write down funny quotes sometimes and then like drawings of crabs. So they're just like not that useful.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. Look, I'm a method actor. I just go full Emmy, apparently. I don't know.
I'll say that go ahead.
I try not to doodle on mine, otherwise it's just going to be a mess. But
yeah,
like I wrote down. So the only time my page has ever been 2 pages was in episode 32. So I wrote like a whole chunk for Azric's fortune, and my fortune. I like literally wrote them out and took notes. And then at the top of that page, it says fortune's red. That way, because I feel like there's going to be a theme with it, you know, like, so I wrote that down so that way I can go back to it 20, 30, 40 episodes from now and be like, oh my God, you know, like this actually was foretold. So
that's funny because the notes I have for that session, I actually wrote down all of the conversation with Emmy's mom. So you got the first part of it, and then I got the entire second part of it. So that's actually really cool. So between us, we did all of it.
Yeah.
Nice teamwork.
I will say that, like, as a DM too, because like I get it, like all this shit's made up. It came out of my brain. I made all it up. Like you have no reference for anything else. It's not like an IP or something that you would know. Like I don't expect players to know everything. That's why I kind of feed you guys stuff because I know that you would know it. But it makes me really happy, like as a DM, for players to take notes because at least it means that they want to be engaged. Like I don't expect you to know every single NPC and all that stuff. That's ridiculous. Like I don't know why I know it. Like
I'm writing all the names down now in hopes that that's how I get an inspiration in the future because that was hilarious and I wanted it.
I was very pleasantly surprised. I didn't think Moobs would know it, but he's lucky that you take notes, Mac. Like,
yeah. Also, Moobs also takes notes, but he takes digital notes, so he can also Control F.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he wrote down those names though, because like they're just it was so small, so minuscule. Like never referenced it ever again. Like today, the thing that is like kind of small but will probably be impactful is I wrote Lucian, Ashboard Galleries, likes fancy things, laid on thick, brag about personal collection. Like that tidbit, I think is going to carry us in the next couple of episodes or when we meet him, you know? And so like, that's something important to write down, but everything else that happened didn't write down, couldn't tell you what happened. Like we just ended it. And I don't know what the episode was about, you know, like so I only know, I know the highlights. That's
did any of you recognize the name that he gave you of the contact for the galleries? Lucian Ashbourne.
Yes, it's the jerk that we ran into that we were supposed to give him his package. Well, Taj disguised as that other guy was supposed to give him his package, and then it all went to complete shit. It was that asshole.
That's the mean noble guy.
We hate
who was
him.
the blacksmith.
He's never seen us though. So.
No, I was curious if you remember who it was.
Yeah.
So
we know.
Actually, I'm gonna write that down because that's going to be important.
His name was Lucian, right?
Lucian Ashbourne of Ashbourne Galleries. And what's really funny is I had his NPC profile before the blacksmith. He was already an owner of galleries before all that stuff happened. So I think it's really funny that they all kind of came full circle.
Yeah, I love it. I'm so excited for Emmy and Taj to just, I don't know what's going to happen in that scene, but I'm just picturing that you know how we look normally, but I picture we show up, we've both got our hair pulled back and art girl glasses, and we've got full on asymmetrical cool art gallery outfits, and we're just no,
snubber noses and stuff.
Yeah, we're just gonna go full I'm gonna channel all of my art school knowledge into next episode.
Amazing.
And then me and Mac are gonna high five and toss our hair at the same time.
Yeah. Except I just envision Emmy just not being very coordinated with it and almost
she'll be very knowledgeable but not cool. Yeah. So Taj is gonna need to be the one in charge. She's gonna rein that in. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Mac. So in a few days in game time, you'll have an echoing crystal, which is all the requirements for your scroll of knock. Mm-hmm. Now you've got to go back to Zara, Taj's friend. What does Taj think that is inside the Cryptex Arcanum? And is it going to be hard both for Taj and as a player, as Mac, it seems like you have some quests and I don't know when you're going to be able to go back and do that because now we've got to steal this artifact thing. Are those components going to burn a hole in your pocket or?
No. So I think it's one of those things that I've had it for so long now, 33 episodes, 33 weeks. I've had this book that I guess as a player, I think that it contains where treasure is or notes of importance. If this is almost kind of like a captain's log, but not really,
yeah, I didn't mean the rudder. I meant the orb thing, the puzzle thing.
Oh, the orb thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. We can do both of those.
That's why you're trying to get the knock spell.
Oh, I thought I was getting knocked for the book.
It's both though, right?
No.
I'm getting knocked for the book.
No knocks for the book.
Knocks for the book.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Told us that.
Yes, it is. It's for the book. I promise you. Hold on.
So
we're gonna have a conversation off.
We're gonna have to have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm checking my notes too because that is what I thought as well.
The book's already open, because you had the Smith do that very early on in Linares. The problem with the book is that
we gotta decipher it.
It's encrypted, and you know the spell, and you know that you're looking to get a scroll of true seeing to figure out what's in the book. That's the one that requires the other ingredients. The scroll of knock is because when you got the little orb from the Magic Island ruins,
are you sure?
And I have extensive notes on this. So it's because it presented you an image of a lock, and then you tried to figure out how to get through that level of it. So we can go through it later on. It's been a while.
Notes on True Sight, Scroll, and Knock.
Yeah, True Sight's for the book.
True Sight.
Knock is for the orb, the Cryptex Arcanum, the magical orb thing you found.
So your question is, we're gonna get Knock. And then we go steal the orb. So I think the order of operations is get Knock, then go get the orb, because it might be a case of you
already have the orb.
We already have it.
No, now we're talking about the other thing. No, okay, there's three. There's three things.
So many
There's
artifacts.
3 things?
There's the orb that we got from the ruins. Then there's the item that the religious people wanted us to get for them, and we got from an
all you know is that it's a chest.
Box.
It's a box.
So we have the chest, the orb, and the book. It sounds like we're going to do a spell.
To open up the chest, we need knock. Okay, so I'm saying we get knock first. Then we like go steal, knock the chest open, take the thing and run, leave the chest where it is. Don't touch the chest. Like, you know what I mean?
Read the description of knock.
Yeah.
Because there's a one big caveat to your, it doesn't mean we shouldn't or can't do it, but we're going to have to figure out how this is going to work. I know because I used knock in a previous game and it
allowed knock.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where did it go?
It's loud.
From something
it's
or another.
Real loud.
It's loud.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Doesn't mean it won't work or that we can't use it. We just
audible from as far away as 300 feet.
Oh yeah. But
I know this because I screwed myself over with it once before.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get all these artifacts and stuff sorted out and all these scrolls and stuff sorted out. So thanks for watching Out of Combat for episode 33, and make sure to tune in for episode 34. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
300 feet, Pax?